Shalom everybody, welcome back to Breslov campus. Insights in the parsha of the week, Lech Lecha. Rav Nosson has a lot of ideas and in many books, Musar books on ethical teachings, they speak about the significance of Lech Lecha. And a famous common idea, even in Breslov teachings, is that this is the indicator Hashem is telling a person, Lech Lecha, when you want to go, because it's a redundancy. Lech Lecha, go, you should go. Why the redundancy? So Rav Nosson explains, Lech Lecha, wherever you go in life, and wherever direction, the goal is to go for Lecha, to yourself. In other words, whatever you're planning to do in life, it should be on the condition that you're looking to discover who you really are. You're trying to discover me. Everywhere you're going is for your sake, number one. Lech Lecha, it's for your sake. And your intent is to discover who you are. So it's Lech Lecha. And the Torah is teaching us here, to do that, you're going to have to do a major work. What is the work? That you're going to have to, although not permanently and not seriously, but to detach from what? Like the verse says, Lech Lecha me'artzecha umimoladetecha umibeit avicha. That Hashem told Avraham, you have to leave your land where you were born, where you brought up, right? Your hometown, your family, right? And the house of your father, that's the family there. But your surroundings, the idea is, like it is brought down in other books also, that when a person wants to do tshuva, when a person wants to come closer, so he has to make a type of sacrifice. The sacrifice is he has to be ready and willing to leave his comfort zone, his status quo situation, his comfortable surroundings that he was brought up in, technically, and the scenario that he knows, to make a sacrifice, to give that up for the purpose of discovering who he is. It may not be permanently, but it's a temporary type of detachment in order to discover who you really are, to find out who you are. Because so long as you are in a comfort situation, a comfort zone, like they say, you cannot really make that advance. Because the comfort of the situation prevents you from advancing, from doing a Lech Lecha. So it's needed that a person has to cut, has to make separations, again, although not permanently, but for this initial stage of getting out to come close to Hashem, you're going to have to make sacrifices. A common example found by many Baal Tshuva, many people who were not religious and become religious, is that they stop, for example, visiting family members who are dressed immodestly, or they have, TVs at home, or non-religious items which prevent spiritual growth. And the people who are doing tshuva, they don't want this anymore. When they want to raise a family on purity, on holiness, so they have to detach. And of course, the family members are upset. What is this? I'm your father. You don't eat with us anymore. You don't talk to us. What is this? Even though it's painful, but sometimes it's needed for that person who's doing tshuva to make that step, to build themselves, so that when firmly established, they can, yes, go back, confront family settings, family situations, and to be able to deal with them without being negatively influenced. And on the opposite, going back to these places in order to collect holy sparks. Just to go off a little, a person sometimes begins to wonder, someone who has done tshuva, who has repented, and they ask, why, Hashem, why did you make me go through all those movies, all those TV shows, all the newspapers, everything I saw in the mundane world before becoming religious? I was sent there. You have other people who are born, quote unquote, religious, FFBs, and they never been exposed to watching Hollywood movies and superstars and girls dancing and stuff like that. They've never been exposed to these things. They never had such a connection. Hashem, why me? Why have I been exposed to these things? One idea is that a person is brought up in a specific surrounding, and to do his tshuva, he's going to have to detach, but eventually, he and only he is the one fit to be sent back to those quote-unquote scenarios, situations, movies and stuff, in order to recollect holy sparks that he had been connected to, and why in the first place he was brought up in those places. Against his will, he's sent back to those places, and only him can he go back to get it. This is compared to Avraham Avinu afterwards, fighting the kings of the nations that he was brought up in, right? Like it says Achitophel and Amraphel in this week's parsha. Avraham Avinu came from their lands. He knew these kings, he knew these people, and he went and fought and won the war. The idea that it says in the Torah that Avram killed all those soldiers in battle, but was able to elevate the sparks found there, which was restored by Avraham Avinu succeeding in the battle. And this parallels the idea of someone who's doing Lech Lecha. He's doing a major Lech Lecha. I want to leave. I'm going for the sake of discovering where I really am. And it's a painful process of detaching, but it's a temporary detachment so that eventually when I build up, I can go back and face these situations which were negative in my upbringing, and to be able to not submit and not fall totally from the situation, but rather to be able to elevate the sparks that were there and to bring them back to their rightful place, which is why in the first place, for example, Avraham Avinu was born in such a scenario, that Avraham Avinu was born from a father Terach, who was an idol worshipper, and the people that he grew up with, and to leave them and to become Avraham Avinu, and then to go back to face those type of people and to convince them to bring them back to Hashem and to bring the world to recognize Hashem. That was Avram Avinu mission, and only he can do that if he was first from one of them, leaving and coming back. That's why they always say that the mind of someone who was far and repented, only such a person can understand people in similar situations. He's someone who can do what's called kiruv work, if you want to call that he's able to talk to people to get them back to wake up, because I can relate to you. I was in these situations, and this is how to leave and how to come back and how to be strong. So again, the bottom line, Lech Lecha. Wherever you're going in life, it should be for you. It's for you come first. Your situation, who you are, why Hashem sent you back, this is the priority. This is the priority concern. But to do it again, you're going to have to separate from the comfort zone, eventually to build yourself up that you can go back to that quote-unquote comfort zone, which is no longer comfortable because you've left it for so long, and to face it, to deal with it, and not to fall because of it.